All right, so look, I was doing some thinking because I realized we are all in a bit of a crisis and we all having problems right now. And we ain't running out of problems, but we are running out of solutions. So in the spirit of trying to inspire a solution, I was just thinking, what can we do that can still build community without having access to a lot of money? You know what I'm saying? And it got me thinking about social media and the internet. And I'm thinking, what if we make an app where you can trade and barter goods and services? You know what I mean? There might be an option on there, you can pay for stuff, whatever. But the whole purpose of the app is not to buy and sell. It's to trade and barter. I think it'd be cool if it looks something like TikTok. You can see what the goods are, and you can see what the services are that people are offering. You know what I mean? I think it could be really useful to people who may not necessarily have access to that type of community yet, but it would help build community. It would force people to interact with each other, and it'd be a way that we could still meet our needs and get what we want without having to go through the system or the matrix, the world, whatever you call it. Because the truth is, at some point in time, shit's gonna get too expensive. You know what I mean? Everything you need, from grocery trips to birthday gifts to Christmas shopping to home improvement stuff around the house, it's just not gonna make any sense to get it from the store anymore. And then even your services, just regular things you need. You know what I mean? You need an oil change. You need somebody to fix the pipes at the house. You know what I mean? Just any service that you can think of. I think it would really be cool if there's an app to where you can look and you can see and you can trade goods for services or services for goods. You know what I mean? So you might have a situation where someone's like, hey, look, I'll come do your oil change and you give me those potatoes. You know what I mean? And some of your bread. You know what I mean? That's a simple example. But it could be, you know what I mean? I'll come cut your grass and you cut my hair. You know what I mean? That type of deal. And I really do think that type of trading and bartering system will be very successful. Like, you know how Craigslist looks? When you go on Craigslist and it's separated from city and state? What if the app was done like that, so you can connect with local people in your area, but it's not just a jank-ass ad. It's not some sketchy advertisement like on Craigslist. It looks more believable. It looks more honest, like something you might mess with. So I don't know. But either way, we got to do something that involves restoring some sense of community that exists outside of the system. Because if not, we all just going to starve. We all going to go hungry, and then we all going to be separated, and it's just going to be a slow, silent death for everybody. Or we can find somebody who's really smart, who's good with these types of things, which I'm sure there are plenty of young people out there who specialize in things like this. And I'm sure with a little creativity and a little effort, they can figure something out. But just imagine if there was an app to where you can trade goods and services. And it's not based around money. It's based around the value of your goods and the value of your services. And another good part about that is it's really revolutionary, because if something like this were to work and you had more people starting to trade and barter their goods and services, it's going to starve the system of capitalism. It's going to starve these big brands and businesses, because they're going to wonder, why the fuck is nobody coming in to these stores anymore? Why is nobody buying our stuff? And then they'll realize, oh, we don't need them. Most of us think we need them because we don't know that other people offer these same goods and services, often at a better quality and a cheaper rate. You know what I mean? We get so used to going to the stores, going to the big brands, that we just assume that whatever they have to offer is the best. But I guarantee you, anything you want in this world, I'm sure there's somebody out here making it. And if they ain't making it yet, they will. And with an app where you can trade goods and services, you can find them, you can have access to them. And then I think it'll be a big relief on all of us, because then the last step of the puzzle is to have a self-sustaining home. You know what I mean? If you had some land with some solar panels and some vegetables, you know what I mean? Have a little farm, have some animals, you wouldn't need nothing else after that. You wouldn't need no money, because you can make things and then you can trade them for what you need, or you can provide services and get what you need from your services. And then at that point, you wouldn't have any cost of living, because if you were able to get to that point to where you have some land and you have a home that is self-sustaining with solar panels and a farm and all that, you'll be free. So I think the first step is building that community. And then I think as that community grows and gets bigger, it will be a lot easier to realize the idea of having independent land. You know what I mean? Because then once we build confidence with each other from trading our goods and services with each other, we can have the confidence to invest in land together. It doesn't have to be a one-man show. You know what I mean? We're not doing this by ourselves. And by making an app, it's kind of like TikTok, but it's just based off trading goods and services. I think that is a small step in building community on a small scale and on a big scale. And most importantly, it gives the middle finger to all the corporations and the system that thinks that we need it to survive. And we can prove to that system that we can do just fine by ourselves.